Hi everyone, welcome to Prometheus in 5 minutes. Technically, the organizers wanted me to talk more about Prometheus, so it's Prometheus in 10 minutes. But I'll keep it simple. I'm Pavan. I'm a developer advocate at Robusta. I'm also a Cube Simplify ambassador. We are a community of cloud native enthusiasts. I also create content around Kubernetes and DevOps in general. Here's a short description of Prometheus. Prometheus is a monitoring solution to collect and aggregate metrics as time series data. You don't need to understand all of this right now. I'll explain each of them. But here are 3 important things that you should know. Monitoring. Prometheus is only used for monitoring. And Prometheus only deals with metrics, not logs, not something else, only metrics. And it does using time series. But before I explain you what these are, we'll go through an example and that'll clear things up for you. Imagine you're making an application, and what this application does is it just goes to Reddit, fetches a meme every time you click generate. As simple as that. So you launch your application and it's wonderful, lots of people are using it, and you go to sleep and you wake up, the application looks fine, but you have tens of emails saying that they weren't able to use the application. It worked for some time, it was too slow, but the website is down and all of that. You don't know what's happening. When you saw it last time, it was good. When you saw it now, it's still good. So you decide to track the number of users and the amount of CPU used overnight. So with this information, you go to the second day. On day 2, you just realize that between 1:30 and 3:30, there are a lot of users, and between 2 a.m. and around 3 a.m., the CPU is at 100% usage, which directly means that a lot of people are not able to access the website. Even if they do, the CPU is not able to serve them. So using this information, the next day, you just decide you'll add another CPU or another VM or another pod or something to just make your users' experience better. Now, getting back to the Prometheus definition, monitoring is the action of collecting information from a running system. This is exactly what you did on day 1, where you don't know what's happening with your system and why it's behaving like that. So you actively decided to get information from the system. And what you decided to get there were metrics. Metrics is just numbers about a process. In this case, it's CPU usage or the number of requests. Time series is a series of data collected at intervals of time. So you decided to collect data overnight, and the data that you collected was over an hour or 20 minutes or 30 minutes or every single hour, and that is time series. So basically what you did here was you collected the data and you needed a place, so you stored the data and then you decided to use the data. This is exactly what Prometheus will help you do. Let's look at each of these individually. First, we'll talk about collecting metrics. When you make an application and you want Prometheus to be able to access its metrics, you can create a /metrics endpoint, expose metrics basically, in the Prometheus format, and Prometheus will be able to pull these metrics. So here, Prometheus at multiple intervals of time, which could be every minute or every 30 seconds or could be anything. Prometheus will go to this endpoint, and if there is some data, it will get it back. This is not the only way you can do it. You can already have an application that does not support Prometheus, but you still want Prometheus to collect its metrics. There are multiple ways you can make sure Prometheus gets these metrics, but we're not going into them right now. You need a place to store these metrics, and you can have a database or something where you can store these metrics. Now you have the metrics, you have them collected. There are 2 different things you can do. First is use queries to get the data that you need. You can also get alerts. Alerts internally use queries. So first we'll look at queries. Prometheus lets you access all of your time series data using a query language called PromQL. If you are using tools like Grafana, it internally uses PromQL to get data and build visualizations or dashboards that you can use to analyze your time series data. Prometheus also has a web UI where you can check the data, enter queries, and get output or results on these queries. Here's an example query. It gives you the total count of methods that were not get and that are in staging, testing, or development. You can also use Prometheus to send you alerts. Prometheus server does this using Alert Manager. You can configure rules in your Prometheus, and these rules are based on queries. And when a rule is triggered, Prometheus sends the data to Alert Manager, and Alert Manager sends it to pre-configured destination like Slack or email or similar places where you can get to know about these alerts. But this is really great, and this works out of the box regardless of you using the Linux server or Kubernetes. By default, Alert Manager only tells you that there is something wrong or one or more of these rules are triggered, but it does not give you more context. If you are using Prometheus on Kubernetes, I work on a tool called Robusta. Robusta can install Prometheus for you, or it can use your existing Prometheus, and based on the alerts that you get, Robusta can add more context to the alerts. Example, like there is a crashing pod. Alert Manager sends you that a rule is triggered, but Robusta can also get the logs of the pod or anything that can help you troubleshoot what's happening right where you want it, be it Slack or Teams or PagerDuty or any of the other integrations. So you don't have to go back and look at your cluster, but just understand what's happening right from the place that you get notifications. And that brings us to the bigger picture of Prometheus. This is by no means everything that Prometheus does or is in Prometheus. There are a lot of moving parts, a lot of integrations that you can add or remove. The next step would be for you to learn to configure alerts and how to configure roles. Thank you for joining. If you have any queries, feel free to ask me. You can find me here on my socials. Have a great time, and thank you, KCD Pakistan.